Welcome to the nightclub, guys. It's your host, the Night Wrencher. Now it's been 1 year since I've released my most popular video, everything you need to know to carb your LS swapped engine or something like that. I forgot what I titled it. I know that we've surpassed 27,000 views and it's been pretty much a year after I've uploaded that, so I'm very excited. I decided to incorporate a few more things in this video. It's more like an update video. I'm going to go through the same basic points, but it's going to have a couple more things that I learned along the way of this last year daily driving my Carbureted 5.3. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Alright, jumping right into it, the most basic thing you're going to need is obviously a carburetor. For a stock engine, or maybe a stock engine with a stage 2 cam and maybe a set of headers, 600 or a 650 will get you by no problem whatsoever. I've already done dyno testing and I've got pretty good numbers. I'll put the video somewhere up here and you guys can go ahead and check that out. I didn't need anything more than a 650. I talked to the tuner. He said, yeah, even if you go with a mild cam, a 650 is not really going to net you anything important. If you do end up going bigger, you are going to lose drivability. If you're going full race, well, then just do whatever you need to do to get to the horsepower that you need. Jumping right on to the next one is you're going to need an intake. You're going to need to verify if it's the earlier Gen 3 stuff or if it's the Gen 4 stuff, what some people call the cathedral port or the rec port heads. Flow wise, they're pretty much the same thing. I know the rec port heads supposedly flow better. It doesn't really matter because it's marginal at best. But what it does matter is that your intake has to be specific to what your heads are. So you got to make sure that they match, and it says either LS1 style or cathedral style heads. You are going to need your set of stock coils. You're going to need the coil harness. I know on the previous video I said stock harness. I meant the actual coil harness, one on each side. You should be able to buy all 4 coils per side with the harness for just the price of the coils if you decide to buy them separately. If you buy the whole engine together, well, then that's something else entirely. You're going to need the wiring harness that goes through and hooks everything up. It's going to hook up your coils. It's going to hook up your temp sensor, which goes over here. It's also going to hook up your crank sensor, which is on the side of the block, and your cam sensor, which is on the back of the block. I have better video of that on my previous video. I'll probably link that somewhere up here as well. What it doesn't come with is a way to measure your temperature, which I added a port here to my water pump. That's how I measure my temperature. And then it doesn't come with any alternator wiring. You just need a 470 ohm resistor hooked up to that second wire. The brown wire can go up on here. I'll probably do a separate video on this one. Just a 1-2 second wire right here from driver to passenger. This just hooks up to this wire. This wire will go to the ignition switch, which will power it on. In between there, it's actually in here, I have the resistor, and I just plug straight into your power. If you put a light bulb in there, it should do the same thing. You just have to make sure you're at the right voltage when you start it up. Real quick before we move on, we are about 45 subs away from 1,000 subs. Congratulations to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. At 1,000 subs, we are going to be doing a giveaway. So if you guys are just kind of hanging out, consider pushing the like button and the subscribe button. Now back to the show. You don't need any kind of O2 sensors. The only reason you would need O2 sensors is if you're adding a wideband. Carburetor setups don't usually have O2 sensors built into the MSD. The MSD that we're using here is the MSD 6014. I wouldn't bother wasting your time with the 6010 or the 6012. The MSD 6014 can figure out if it's a Gen 3 engine, if it's a Gen 4 engine. It comes with the conversion harnesses for each one. It'll identify your coils automatically. As long as everything is more or less in the same parameters, you should be up and running with just a couple wires and you should be good to go. Speaking of the MSD, you can mount it pretty much anywhere, but you probably want to keep it away from heat registration. But I've got my MSD harness in here, plenty of different settings you can play with. I just stick to custom 1, mainly because my map sensor doesn't work right now. It's got it built in, but it doesn't seem to work. MSD is sending me a different box, so hopefully I can play with the tuning with the map sensor working. Moving on to fuel, I've got an 89 Dodge D150 fuel pump retrofitted into my tank. That feeds my fuel line from the bottom. This is a bypass regulator, and I've got the return line going out this way, going into the back. And I've got the pressure line, 3/8 line into my carburetor. Most aftermarket carburetors do have 3/8 lines. If you get a factory holley, sometimes those have 5/16 line. But most of these 4150, 4160s are all 3/8 line. You do want to use a bypass style regulator because it's just the most efficient, especially if you're going to be driving it around very often. It prevents you from getting a lot of heat soak in the fuel lines and keeps fresh fuel flowing all the way through your system. If you must use, or if you want to use a deadhead style regulator, you can. Just keep in mind those are more suited for, like, quick runs, maybe racing applications. I don't think it's suited for driving 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on the freeway. I feel like they'll get overheated, but maybe somebody else will be a little bit more informed of what they're talking about. The only time I've ever ran a deadhead style fuel pump, I ended up burning it up within 15 minutes. The regulator was just constantly stopping the flow of the fuel pump, and it ended up burning out prematurely. Got rid of that, warranted my pump, got a bypass style regulator, and I've had no problems ever since. Consistent fuel pressure all the way around. The bare essentials to make your LS run without any other, accessories. You don't even need a serpentine belt. You don't need your water pump. You don't need the alternator on. The only thing you need is your MSD box. You need your carburetor. You don't even have to have a fuel pump on it. You could just fill your carburetor up with fuel beforehand. You can go ahead and leave your map sensor disconnected. Mine doesn't even work, so you definitely don't need it connected. Your temperature sensor, this one I think is broken because my temp reads the same whether I'm cold or hot, so there's something wrong with the sensor. I've already tested it, so something's wrong with the sensor, so you can actually leave that disconnected if you really wanted to. So that would be disconnected. Your map sensor would be disconnected. You don't need the factory oil pressure sensor. That has nothing to do with the carb setup. You just need to hook up your 2 sets of coils. You need your crank sensor, you need your cam sensor, you need your ignition power, you need ground for your box, and that's pretty much it. Your carburetor runs itself. I probably put anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 miles on this thing already, and aside from a few hiccups, a little bit of learning curve, going into carb tuning and figuring things out on my own, after I finally got it dialed in, it's just absolutely amazing, and it has a very distinct sound versus standard fuel injection, and I'm pretty sure all you guys will like driving this around when you guys build yours. So that about does it. I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Night Wrencher out.